All right, welcome to Pass the Mic. Friday, October 31st, 2025. Happy Halloween, everyone. Episode 183. Mike Gervasi, we are on Zoom. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
This is probably our last Zoom.
Yeah, the Mr. Zoom is very
Yes.
pinching pennies.
Yeah, so no more Zoom. We're gonna work our way around that. We're gonna try something new next week. So we're not gonna use something new for the anniversary episode, for the 4-year anniversary episode. So next week we're gonna give it a test run and hopefully it works so we can do the anniversary episode
And if it doesn't, everybody's gonna have to come on. We're gonna
at,
really
at the same time.
we're gonna
Yes.
we're gonna fire away fast. Yeah.
Speaking of the 40th anniversary, big shout out to our friend and one of our influences to start this,
Yeah.
Mr. Hadi Ansari, one of our guests, former guests, Teacher of the Month again, September. I think he's won the award every September at his school.
He's very humble and he doesn't really talk about it much. So that's the crazy part.
I still wonder if they're going to name it, but he got us another last year. Remember, he got us two cameos.
Yeah, who was it? Was it Austin Jackson?
Jackson, yeah, and who was the Piston, the former Piston?
Oh, Anthony Tolliver.
Yeah, Anthony Tolliver. And then this year it was Olympic gold medalist and I believe WWE superstar at one point, Kurt Angle.
Yeah. Are you familiar with him?
I mean, not. I mean, I knew who. Well, he started off by saying who he was, Olympus Kurt Angle. But
Yeah, he did.
it's not like I was always a big Randy Orton guy. I would, who I was never a big Hulk Hogan guy. Like I always,
No.
yeah, like I wanted Andre the Giant to win when I was in the Silverdome.
What about King Kong Bundy? Remember when he wrestled
Yeah, I remember he broke Hogan's ribs and he had to. And
But the Hulkster was always the all. I mean, you didn't like Hulk Hogan. You're
I
gonna get. I
didn't.
think you're gonna take some heat
I
for
didn't.
this.
I sort of like I never really bought into it, and I sort of liked. I got joy when he. I was a Piper guy too. I was like Piper, and that was like his. You know.
But Piper became a good guy after. You remember Piper's Pit? That was great. Ace, baby.
Yes.
That's how it started.
Yes. Feedback and errors. First of all, I was last Saturday. I was in beautiful East Lansing, a beautiful day. Man, we've been lucky this fall. Now that it's really coming to fall, it was a little rainy and ugly today, but Saturday in East Lansing was beautiful, even for that night game. Two not very good teams. I don't care, Rendog. I don't care what you say. Neither of them. Listen, State's not good at all, and
Right.
Michigan is average. Okay, if they make the playoffs somehow, it's a scam of what this college football playoff is because that was not great football out there in East Lansing on either side.
No, you
Um,
don't like the slugfest, the
and as a,
running
I'm
in
a,
mud, and
and, you know, it's funny. I got stopped by numerous people because I had a Michigan hat on and a Michigan State shirt on, and everyone wanted to know why. And as soon as I said I had two kids that went to two places, no matter what they were, Michigan fans or State fans, they were like, "Oh, no problem."
was there? Now tell me this, because it seemed like and I know you weren't in the state. You didn't go in the
Oh,
game.
I didn't know.
Correct.
I got tickets. I did go in.
Oh, I thought you didn't go.
Yeah,
Okay.
shout out to the Frisches.
So what was it like? Was it heated at all or no?
Um, a little. I mean, there was like nothing like violent. I mean, I think State fans are so defeated right now. I think is part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I left before that big fumble call with that offsides call, which was a lousy call.
Man, that was the start of the third quarter. You really left
No,
early. You're
I
really
was
beating
no, I
traffic.
was in the corridor at that point. I missed it, is what I'm saying. But then
Okay,
but no,
gotcha.
we didn't stay till the end. But that was that, and any Michigan fan that doesn't say that was a bad call. Again, not why they lost, not why Michigan State lost that game, but that was a big play in that game. Um,
Mike, listen, I'm not, you're right. Ultimately, I think you're right. I think Michigan probably wins the game regardless. But that's a pretty pivotal call,
it is.
and that's a momentum changer.
Yeah, it is. It's a big one, but it's not. It wasn't the last drive of the game. It
It
wasn't.
wasn't. It wasn't.
It was.
You got to
But
overcome, right? Isn't that
well,
your?
yes. But way back to all that, Tony and Patricia were there. Tony
Oh, boy.
loved his shout outs. They were listening to the episode on the ride up to East Lansing.
Gotta love Tony. Tony's amazing.
Mr. Tony, Coach Tony,
Love that guy.
Tony. Patricia did not like your little bit of relationship advice that you gave out when his head gets big, and
Whoa.
I'm
But
just
Tony's such a great guy.
well, Patricia's a great lady, but
But Tony's Tony. Yes, Patricia is one. She's always been so nice. So yes.
So it was a great time though. Gary Bailey spiked the football again on food service workers. Even got a little poetic in his comments on the Facebook page, as he does sometimes. Very nicely done. Max gave a shout out to. He said Miss Chris and Miss Joan, and all honestly, Miss Chris is my mom. the glory days of shoemade lunch, as he put it. So as we honored food service workers last week, you got anything else?
Yeah, I got a few. Let me start with oh, you mentioned Gary Bailey. The Ren Dog was very upset with us for not mentioning the Carlson Allen Park game of the
Oh
week.
yes, it was the
Well,
game of the week. WXYZ did a great job.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Did
Allen
it,
Park was not
did they
very
show
good.
up?
Well, I don't want to say anything about the football because they're in the playoffs and could
You're right.
be
You're
back in
right.
Marauder Stadium.
But we
So
could talk I mean, it's still okay to say that game that they didn't
that
really
game was
show up.
over. That game was over in the first quarter. Yes,
Yeah, I did. Max and didn't even get mad when we proclaimed it being over in the first
yes,
quarter. That's how you know it was actually over.
yep.
Uh, Deontay, he wanted me to clarify something, and I got a postscript. So it was a Gardner steak, and that's why my man card was taken away.
Oh yeah, those are no big deal.
So to me, any snake's a big deal. So a quick story. I'll make this fast. I show up at my house yesterday, open the garage, and there's a snake, Gardner steak.
Okay,
And this thing and I are having a stare down for a few minutes, and I'm
yeah,
trying to figure out how the hell to handle this. So I walk around to the other side of the house, walk through the garage, so I get it from the back, but it's still there. You know, I mean, I guess I was hoping it'd sneak out of there, and it
yeah.
wasn't. So I have a industrial grade leaf blower, compliments of one Mr. Rob Raymond. Still
Okay,
missing you, Rob. Can't wait for you
yep.
to come
We miss
back.
you. Yep.
And I blew that sucker out of the garage.
Holy cow! Don't tell.
Yeah.
Hope PETA's not listening to this.
No, I hope not either, because
They're
I
going to be
generally am
picketing.
very sympathetic to what they do and their cause, but there was still a snake in the garage. And what really became funny about it, or I got it out though. And first off, when I had to start this thing, and I was really
And
feeling
that didn't
manly.
even move it.
No, it
Oh,
didn't, and then it slithered a little bit, but I don't know what I mean, I don't know if it was scared or not. But then I realized I got to take the garbage out. The garbage was right out there in the area where I blew it, so I took the blower back out there, and I'm just blowing in the grass in the general area. And I'm sure the neighbors, if they would have seen it, would have wondered, what is this guy doing? Because I'm
yeah.
blowing the grass with my garbage can, but I was not bothered by that snake again. So little postscript. Deontay also talked about something that addressing the issue about um, stardom and the thing related to the Chauncey Billups gambling thing. And he mentioned before that he his really coming to Jesus, so to speak, moment was with Kobe and the allegations in the early 2000s with the young lady in Colorado. And that made him take a step back on anyone and everyone and allowed him to separate his personal feelings with him being, Kobe being an all time Laker great. Deontay's a big Laker fan with the fact that these are still human beings that do human being type things. As for the second part, there's absolutely no way that the feds can realistically stop illegal gambling. The best thing we can do is treat it like it's a sickness, just like they do the opioid epidemic. There's way too much money involved now in these vices for us to stop. I agree with that fully in every conceivable way. You and I have talked about it. We've talked about it before. We talked about it on the show last week. It's just funny to me. So I was on watching the Pistons Cavs game on Peacock at the start of the game the other day, and the number of prop bets in just the first 5 minutes of this game, I lost count. Like it just kept popping up. So the NBA has decided to get in bed with these companies, and I think this is the logical outcome. It's not okay. And Chauncey's situation was obviously different. It involved a card game, but there was potentially gambling involved as well. Regardless, I think this is going to be a lot more the new normal than, and it really sucks, but it's a moneymaker.
Oh yeah. Not to be cliche, but the toothpaste ain't going back in the tube.
No, no, not at all.
And ironically, Max texted us right before we went on the air to record this. Said the Law and Order, ripped from the headlines, is about a poker game.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
what
saw you put
that's
it
what
on too.
he is referencing. I'm not. We're obviously not watching it because we're recording right now. So,
Yeah.
anything else you got? Yeah, Rendog with another very early response.
Well, what time was this one? I didn't even notice.
Oh man, it was even earlier. I thought it was like 12:45. Like he listened like right as it dropped. If I remember,
So
I
he's
don't.
trying to really he's beating his own record every week.
I mean, you really can't beat 12:45. I mean, let's see, Friday six. Oh no, no, Friday 12:58 a.m. is when his I'm
Well,
disappointed came
see,
in.
you can also, depending on where you're listening to this, you could potentially speed it up, and so therefore,
Oh yeah, you could
maybe.
skip everything.
No, I'm saying like put it in double speed, and
Yeah, yeah,
still,
for sure. So 12:58. I mean, that's gonna be tough to beat, to be honest with you.
yeah, yeah.
So shout out to the Ren Dog. He also, you know. he picked Michigan over Lane Sparty, but he did say the Steelers will beat the Packers 27-24.
Okay.
That
Wow.
that didn't work out very well.
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
All right. So here we go. My mic of the week. So I'm like, okay, we're doing this. We're going to do this whole episode. It's about since we're drawing close to our anniversary, I figured why don't we focus totally on podcasting and podcast and where we've gone now, where we've gone over 4 years, because the anniversary show is more about our guests. So this is going to be the
Mhm.
anniversary show for us, is what I get, is the way I designed it. So I'm not going to even lie. I just Googled podcasters named Michael. And so Michael Hobbs or Hobbs, Hobbes, some of his podcasts, he's jumped around. Maintenance Phase, I think you're wrong about that, which I really like. He doesn't host it now. It's still,
Oh, interesting.
I think it's just called You're Wrong About. That's the name of it now. And there's a new host. He was the host for a while. And it's about things about, you might like this, like history that people got wrong. Like people that like proclaim, like, oh, we joke around about my Veterans Day last week when the 11th day and the
Yeah,
11th
I was going
hour.
to mention that too. I
Like I
forgot.
was purposely wrong about that, but but that's like clearly wrong. But things that people say sometimes that are just wrong, you know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
becomes factual. So that's what that pod. He has another one that I want. It looks like it's perfect. Like this guy's made for us. If books could kill, and it's about awful nonfiction books that have become like gospel and popular,
Hmm.
like Carnegie, influencing people, like these books that are supposed to be
Yeah.
these great things. And so we both have something there. So again, Michael Hobbs or Hobbs, I didn't look up the correct pronunciation. Journalist. I think he was a Huffington Post writer, but does a lot of podcasting, jumps around a lot, and sort of in
Okay.
the topics we like. So I might check out that If Books Could Kill or You're Wrong About. There's a new, like I said, there's a new host You're Wrong About, but it sounds like pretty interesting stuff.
You going to do that on one of your walks in the morning?
Well, currently I'm doing Pittsburgh Sports Memories podcast, which I talked to you a little bit about today. They're
Yeah.
reliving game one, just one game. They do these things where they'll look at one great game in Pittsburgh history or season or this, but they're doing game one of the 92 NHL Stanley Cup Finals, Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Chicago Blackhawks. And they went on about how many Hall of Famers are on those two teams. Totally forget about
Yeah.
it. You got
Let's.
Mike Keenan versus Scotty Bowman are the
Oh,
coaches.
wow.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
some legends thrown
Yeah, I'm
around
just
there.
thinking of those teams. Okay, so we've already mentioned, and they've led us into. We won't give it away, but they've led us into a topic next week, right? Where
Yes, yes.
okay, so but let me see, Yager and obviously Lemieux on the
Yep.
Penguins. Anybody else?
Um, Brian Trottier, who was
Oh,
older then, but his prime was with the Islanders. But Brian Trottier, Ron Francis, also a Hall of Famer.
wow.
Tom Barrasso, their goalie, a Hall of Famer. By the way, Ed Belfour was the goalie for the Blackhawks. You know who his
Yeah.
backup was?
Was it
His
Patrick Law?
backup. No, Dominic Hasek.
Oh, okay. I knew Hasek. I think yes.
I mean, they're
Um,
they're they're. I mean,
wow.
you have Chelios in his prime.
Yes, Jeremy
It's
Roenick.
A
Um,
young Jeremy Roenick. There's
yeah, Jeremy
lots of.
Roenick.
It's a really cool Stanley Cup, and that game was crazy too. It went back and forth, and the Blackhawks were really good. They were a really good team. That was a great, and that was like Yager's coming out too. By the way,
Our friend and former guest Jeff Simons, who appears to not listen to the show unless he's on it, his words.
yes, very
But
limited.
he's being mentioned this week. Obviously, he had some very good stories about those Penguins teams. I don't know if he was working for them or his brother. Somebody in his family was working for those Penguins teams and had some inside stories on some of the dirt that was going on with those Penguins teams and some of the betrayals of
Oh
players and
yeah,
wives and things like
wives.
that.
Yeah,
Just
Kevin
yeah,
Stevens, Rick Tocchet. There were some crazy things going on.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
family friendly.
No, no, of course
But
not.
that's what I've been listening to. But maybe once I get done with that, I'll go in there. But what we're doing today for our education topic, but it's more of our topic, is sort of a
Yeah,
celebration of doing this for 4 years. Just sort of maybe how you feel about it. What maybe I didn't really give you anything. I just said we're going to talk about how we feel about the show, what we like
yeah.
about it, our favorite parts about it. Maybe if you have a favorite episode or a favorite guest or anything like that. So what do you got for me?
Okay. My favorite part comes every week, and it's the feedback from the guests. And I think that's the coolest part. And one of the really neat things to me, and now I'm being serious, is the folks that come back and listen later on, like Tony, who gets caught up and refreshes my memory about episodes from 2 and 3 and 4 weeks ago. Jill Burguy seems to do that sometimes as well.
Yeah.
That's I think the coolest part, because again, I don't think I'm a very interesting person, and so the fact that people find some of the things that I say kind of interesting is pretty darn neat, and so that to me is the best part. I would say, to answer your question, my favorite episode is still probably it. It'd probably be the Darren Camilleri one, although there are some other guests that have been super, super interesting. But I just think for the sake of just his fame, and man, you know what's funny? I don't know if you were on Facebook today, but he posted this. This is on him in a sense that he was talking about the shutdown and SNAP benefits and the amount of vitriolic hatred that he
Oh,
gets.
geez.
And again,
Yes.
this is not partisan, because I'm sure if a Republican posted something, you
Yeah.
get very similar things. But my lord, and so just seeing that, and I think and counting, it was
So
up to like
people are mad.
288.
People are mad. He's concerned about people not eating.
Well, his point was the Republicans are doing this, and so the Republicans on there said the Democrats just want to give free stuff to illegal
Oh,
aliens,
okay.
and and it just kind of went from there. And it was just I mean, the stuff that was written on there. I don't want to say some of the sentences that are just
Not family friendly.
not family friendly. Lots of cussing, lots of run on sentences. So yeah,
Aristotle would be proud. What do we got going on? We got a code red going on over there. What happened to the wing score or something?
well, what the heck happened there? What did the, this, it's yeah. So anyway, it's the red light district. So that's that episode was really good. Rob Raymond, I
Yep.
thought, really touched a nerve with some people. Thought that was a very good one. And so, Danielle, when she was on last year, and how moved she was to be on the show, I thought was really good. For laughter's sake, and I'll stop it here and give you the floor a little bit. Gary Bailey, when he came on last year, and it was with his other sons, but when he told us that, who cares what you guys think? And he's clarified since, but
Yes.
man, that was funny. That was funny.
Yeah.
So those are just some
Um,
of my lasting memories.
so I have, first of all, that I've learned a lot, and that usually comes through the guests, but also like when, we don't just like say, oh, here's the topic, and then we go. We like look things up. We, take a look at things. So I've, it's, and I, as and I, not to use a lame education term of lifelong learner, but I enjoy learning new stuff. That's why I read
Hmm.
books. It's why I read
Sure.
the news sites each morning. And this has just been another avenue to learn new stuff. And I put right in and that slides right into all the great guests throughout the years. I still contend that our best episodes are our guest episodes because again, who cares what we think? Let's get somebody
Yeah.
on here that,
Right.
and
Hmm.
whether, no matter who they are, and we've had people from all walks of life. We still want to do more guests. And it's always my favorite part. We have our stock questions and the guests. We've been very fortunate that every guest has really done really well. It's people when like we joke around sometimes. I bet if we went back and listened to episode one, I know we were like awful. We were sitting down there in Morrow's old
Yeah.
room and talking about
Hmm.
candy bars and stuff and that sort of thing. And we didn't even know what we were doing. But our guests come on like that every week. And, other than someone like Darren and some other, and I know some of our other guests, our city council woman that was elected in Wyandotte, I've seen her on other podcasts. Right. Like,
Yeah.
so, yeah,
She's
so
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, no, no. I mean, I'm just saying for the most part, it's their first time or very limited, and that's a pretty cool thing to see. And everyone just runs right with it. They always say they're a little bit nervous before they start, but
Yeah.
they always do a great job, and I'm very thankful for that. So, I want to let you,
Well,
before I wrap mine up, did you have something you wanted to say?
yeah. I want to add a couple of things. So Adriana,
Adriana,
the
yes, I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah, right. She was
Councilwoman Adriana.
councilwoman. Yeah, and business owner as well. She was, first off, it was a chance encounter that I ran into her. Um, and kudos to her for remembering me and recognizing me, because I'm certainly looking older than I did 13, 14 years ago. But it was really cool talking to her after the show, and just some of her memories from high school.
Yes,
That was
off the air.
outstanding. Yeah, off the air, correct. Elizabeth Pate, who we're both very, very tight with,
Yep.
and I knew what she did for a living, but that episode
Oh
certainly,
yeah, and her
you know
route to get everyone's routes to me have been
correct.
great.
Yeah.
It's never like, oh, I did this, boom, boom, and I'm there. Justin Woodring. his route in path. By the way,
Hmm.
we still need to eat our, but maybe we
We do.
shouldn't because the way things are going, we may want to hold on to those. I mean, we're blowing places up, and it's so funny.
Okay, go ahead.
We're blowing boats up. I might want to hold on. We might want to just like have those as a gag. We might want
That
to
might
save
be our.
those.
Um, so yeah, I mean, and I think it was really cool when we introduced Kyle Walavera to the world and just
Yeah,
having, and not to the world, my lord, that was a very arrogant statement, but to the people in the community, because
yeah,
I want people to know all of the things that people
yeah.
do in a building, in our
The
building,
maestro
the maestro
who's
coming on.
taking hundreds of kids to go march in at Chapman tomorrow for the
Yeah,
Halloween parade
yeah.
or
So I mean,
today.
I think if we really start to reflect on this, I think more things would come to our minds. And I'm gonna I'll hold off because part of the overrated, underrated stuff I want to kind of touch upon that too.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Because
So
we sort of.
yeah,
I do want to wrap up with. It's been fun to do this with you. We've gotten to celebrate a lot of great things in our career. We had Darren on. We joke often about being the teachers of the month down here. We've been able to celebrate some victories and good things that have happened for us over the course of 4 years. I've been lucky. I was lucky to have my daughter and Nadia on, my daughter Chloe, who I'm very proud of. We've celebrated. Your daughter won homecoming queen. I've had people. You guys, listeners were here. You were here when I lost my dad. So good times and bad. You were just recently married. I think that's been great. And we joke around, who cares about these things? And my wife says nobody, she doesn't listen because she doesn't want to hear me. But the like you said, our listeners that have provided feedback or said great things in good times and in bad have always been great there. And it's just like a nice community, like in a way. And and shout out, we gave a shout out to Hadi for getting us really started on this. Same with Josh Anderson, a former student that
yeah,
sort of pushed us into doing this. And I want to give a big shout out. We joke around, we tease him a lot, but Max Bailey has been along with the Ren Dog. He is texting minute by minute
he
on the
is,
on the ride into work Friday morning at six
he
thirty
is, yeah,
and possibly annoying his daughters when it first started. But I think by eventually they got used to it and greatly, even to the point of if he's on a trip or something, he often has to he's driving and Avon will take over the texting. And so I
yeah,
want to give Max a big shout out because along with the Ren Dog, he's our first input always, and usually very good input, it's detailed input,
yeah.
segment by segment input. So
Thoughtful, and Max is not. Max is. It reminds me. I remember NBA players talking about Jerry West. He will tell you what he feels, regardless of
yeah,
what you
well, yeah,
you're getting legitimate feedback from him.
yes, it's
Um,
honest, and he doesn't worry about hurting our feelings.
Man, this is really jarring my memory too. But when we started 4 years ago, you were not a Michigan fan at all. You were not a state of Michigan fan. You did not like the Michigan Wolverines at
Hated him.
all.
He
Hated
rooted
them.
against him.
Yeah.
Rooted against him.
So that's how much the world has changed. Your
Yes.
world, anyway.
Yes.
Um, and now, like I said, I'm just kind of like rehashing some of the memories of being on here. I remember the anniversary show a couple of years ago. I had not seen Deontay, who moved out to Arizona in probably 3 years. And so seeing him, it was a nice surprise. And that was a really cool moment. The other callers we see, are either I'm not as close to, or, I knew they were going to call in and I'm still friends with. But Deontay is somebody that I probably see, maybe once or twice every 3 or 4 years. So that was a really, really neat surprise. Let's shout out Tom Pack too. He's every
Yeah.
week,
Yeah.
you know,
Always a picture within the first 24 hours.
yeah,
So
yeah.
and very well done too. He does a great job.
Yeah,
He found a ton of pictures of Jessica for the episode she was
he
on.
did, and I just would love, like I said, I'd love to be a fly on the wall and just watch him and see if he's laughing as he's doing this. As he's taking notes on what he's going to put in this collage. It's really funny. So
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our reflection on. I still, it's crazy. 4 years. Who would have
it
thought?
is.
Something
It
we just
is.
threw around, and Morrow said we could try that, and we had no idea what we're doing. And we started to know we know what we're doing a little bit, and now we got to make a little change here. I think we're going to be all right. So we'll test it next week.
Yeah. We'll
And
see.
we're going to be back in Studio B when we can. Obviously, we always like working out of there. So our overrated, underrated then is podcasts and podcasting. You know, thing about podcasts is there's people that love them, and you know, and again, one last thing, branching over, you know, also a thing to reflect on. Because we just did it recently, the
Oh yeah.
presentation we did, and thanks
Yep.
to Gary Bailey and his wife Chris, like that was awesome. That was a great experience. But there's also people that are like whatever. But I tend to, you know, I really like them. I don't not just I don't like making them. I listen. I talk about that Pittsburgh sports memories. I listen to DK Pittsburgh sports. And what's nice is he has these little 22-minute blurbs each morning on the Pirates,
Mhm.
Steelers, and Penguins. I can listen to which ones I want. Like I said, I'll listen to 60 minutes from all the time for my walks. Like it's I honestly do that more than I watch like any news program. Like that it's sort of replaced watching television, honestly,
Sure.
in my opinion. So whether you like them or hate them, and I guess the people listening to us like them, what is your overrated for podcasts or podcasters?
So funny you mentioned that. My overrated is all the people that rip on podcasts. It's
Oh,
become
nice
almost
haters.
haters. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost become there's a commercial where there's kind of a joke made about it. Everybody has a podcast. So yeah, it's the haters. I think it's an easy, low hanging fruit to make cracks on this because there are a lot of people that do it, but it's because
Yes.
it's fun. And I like you said, I don't gather that I listen as much as you do to podcasts, but you can find whatever you want. And there's a lot of things I
Yep.
want to listen to. And so I don't walk as much. I did for a little while and I would turn things on. I'm a lot of political commentators I like to listen to are out there, a lot of historical subjects I like to listen to. Cutting the grass here at this house that I'm living now is takes a lot longer. So I listened to some great Pistons podcasts this summer when, there was downtime on where they're not playing, obviously. And so I think they're really cool. And my overrated is the people that are haters.
All right. Mine is not going to shock you at all. There is one branch of podcasting that I don't care for very much, and it is comedy slash forced humor. I don't enjoy it. I can see the look on your face. I don't mind when there's a podcast and something funny is discussed or comes up. All
Yeah.
right, that I don't mind. I mean, I'm not saying they all have to be serious and like Max Bailey approved, no laughing. What I am saying is that when the whole thing are these comedians that have podcasts and it's just like a running long stand up bit. That is my overrated. I know this is going to shock you. That's not one thing I'm looking for in my podcast.
So listen, I just have to ask you. I think there's some comedians that are overrated, and you've sort of generalized. Are there any comedians like I can think of Chris Rock in one of his stand-ups did this bit one time that I was like hunched over laughing so hard. Eddie Murphy, Delirious, George Carlin. These are amazing comedians. Bill Burr to me is hysterical all the time. Do you just not find any of them?
Like I said, you don't listen to. I just like when they say like this new thing's coming in. I would never watch, no matter who it is. Like I wouldn't watch.
Okay.
It's not something I look toward doing.
I understand. I think they provide insights into the world. I was listening to Louis C.K. and Bill Maher talking recently, and comedians are constantly, and it was pretty interesting hearing what they had to say. It was after some comedians went and performed in Saudi Arabia, and there was commentary about that. For people that thought it was a good idea and those that thought it was a bad idea. But one of the things that was mentioned was this is comedians. AI will not replace comedians. Comedians are irreplaceable because they notice things in the world that all of us kind of miss, which is what makes them so interesting.
Oh,
And the cream of the comedians rise to the top. And I thought that was a pretty good insight that they made. Now,
no,
again, I
no,
don't
no robot comedians.
know Robert, but Bill Maher is even more opposed to AI than you. So
Oh, really?
he
I
mentioned the electricity the other day, and so
I
yeah.
know. Yeah, I just saw a story here. DTE's given promised like a 25% upgrade to this whatever a data center around here. That's great. Maybe some of those unemployed Amazon workers run the uh can run the conveyor belt to.
How does this lead to a short rant from you? I'm just like
I don't
explaining
know.
to you.
I'm telling you what, this AI, it's fine. Everyone's mad about people on SNAP benefits. We're all going to be on SNAP benefits at this point. That's why I don't want to get rid of the MRE.
That's a very interesting segue from what I had
It's good.
mentioned to.
It's good forever. Underrated. And I sort of mentioned this a little bit earlier. What a great way to learn things. Free of charge, no charge. A way to learn things that and yes, I know you can go get a book from a library. Obviously, that's my profession, but on my phone, I can just hit something and learn a ton of things and listen to it and not necessarily learn like we talk about YouTube, right, to fix your toilet or fix something. I'm talking about learning things just for the act of learning, which
Yeah.
is another dying habit, right? Like everything. Well, why do you need to learn it? You can just back to what you said, these data centers and chat GPT, there's no need to even learn this. Just type it in. And sorry that I'm still a boomer, I guess. And I enjoy learning these things and learning about the history of things and learning and like listening to the 60-minute story and this sort of thing and just finding out other stuff. And I, that's to me what is very underrated about podcasts. Also underrated is that any two doofuses or any one doofus can start one with a phone really and a pair of headphones at the
Yeah.
basic level. You know what I mean? Like we have a little bit better stuff in the studio, definitely professional stuff there, but we don't use it all the time. And right now we're just using our laptops and some earbuds and there's no cost. Like I don't somehow it's paid for the hosting. I mean, Spotify lets you put as much stuff up there on as you want. They haven't billed me yet, Dr. Rice. So it's nice. Same with YouTube. The episodes I put up on YouTube, I just keep throwing them up there, and there's more data and space out there to put it up there. One day when we're all
So
gone, who's
let
going
me
to
ask
look
you
at all this
this,
stuff?
and this is kind of leads into my underrated. We sort of went out of order there, and that's fine. But
Yeah.
I how many people have asked you to be on?
Oh, I don't really keep count of that. I mean, most of
Like, you've been asked, I assume, though,
I
correct?
would say yes. I would say over 20.
Yeah. Now, which is fine.
Yeah.
And again, this was kind of my underrated, and it sort of goes with the overrated. Everybody rips on it, we've taken some good natured ribbing
Yes.
about the show. But if you're going to constantly rip on us and you clearly want to be on, there's sort of a disconnect there, right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
I mean, so that if I guess my underrated is if my overrated is the haters, the underrated is like the
is
people that want to be on
the
it,
fans, our
the
fans.
fans. Like, and again, people want to be heard, and you just said how easy it is, and it is. I mean, even Woodhaven has one. I don't know how long they go per episode, but nevertheless, it's just it has been. And here's my criteria. Look, like, listen, I am. We both kind of have people in our sort of back pockets that we know we're going to have on at some point. But I just, like I said, I'm not. If you have constantly ripped on us for doing this, and then you're coming to us saying, you want to be heard, you know, do the call and show, and then we'll talk. How's that?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, have your people talk to our people.
Yeah. And again, I don't think anybody listening right now falls into that category. I think it's certain members we work with,
Okay.
a starting point.
Unnamed.
Unnamed, yes.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, there we go. Overrated, underrated, all wrapped up. But again, when it comes down to it, I love doing it. It's a good time. It is work. And the one thing I mentioned, you talk about anybody can start one, but to keep one going, that's where the real work comes in. And we know this. We know how hard it is because we've had to take weeks off. We've had weeks off where we knew we wanted the week off. Like we just say we're not doing one. We
Mhm.
know. But we also had other weeks where the week got away from us. And we notice when that happens, it takes a hit in
Yes.
viewership and
Yep.
it's really easy to quit. It's really easy to quit. It's really easy and it's something I don't want to do. So um, I will pat ourselves on the back for that. So we're still here after 4 years.
And I got to tell you, what's really really interesting about that too is regarding the quitting, and it just reminded me of this because when Deontay, the aforementioned Deontay, who had been on the show before, when he started his with three other dudes, theirs was like a very raw version, somewhat version of ours. In that, first off, they were having some drinks during the show, uh,
Hmm.
very unedited, but it was very good. But that was he and himself acknowledged that how difficult it is to keep it going, and that, man, you miss a week and it's rough. It's rough. You lose
Yeah.
a lot of people. So I fully agree with that.
All right. Hot mic take. What do you got this week?
So, it's interesting. You had mentioned, and Elizabeth Pate really took to this, some music from like the 80s, rock music of the 80s. And I have never been an 80s rock music fan. Um, and so there's obviously some variation, but I was pulling into work a couple days ago, and I'm listening to the song that came on was All Apologies, 90s song by Nirvana. And to me, that's
Yeah.
like my mental rock music anthem of the 90s. And looking into the song All Apologies, it's a very deep song that Kurt Cobain's really bearing his soul in the song. There's some existential crisis there. There's anger at the world. There's apologies. I mean, that's what he's saying. Everything's my fault. There's so many things. And then, no joke, I turned the corner into the parking lot, into the actual Carl the teacher's lot, and I turned the station because the song ended. And I'm Just a Girl by No Doubt is on, another 90s song. This one is a very feminist anthem from the 90s. Excellent song by No Doubt, Gwen Stefani, the lead singer. And it got me thinking, this is why I am tapped into the 90s a lot more. I think the music, to me, the 90s music sort of just meant more. And I then ran this by Kelly Warren, who's
A big
tends
music
to
buff.
big music buff, tends to rip on us a little bit, but we
Yeah.
dug deeper into this one a little bit. Because I could say the same thing about rap music, rap of the 80s. And again, there are exceptions. And there's, going back to rock for just a second, U2, very serious musical group. And they really, I think they got their start more in the 70s, but certainly a very serious musical group. But in general, the 80s anthem to me in rock is Don't Need Nothing But a Good Time by Poison. Good song, but it was more of and this is Kelly's word, and I agree, overindulgence of the 80s. And again, rap music, some of it was pretty gritty and stuff like that, but there was also, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince singing Parents Just Don't Understand. The 90s, at least the early transition, was much more serious in nature. Back to rock, you had Van Halen, 80s versus 90s, a very different band. Guns N' Roses, a very different band from the 80s and 90s. And so, and then Kelly took it deeper, and he mentioned the center of where these music scenes took place in 90s rock. It was LA, and again, more of a party, or I'm sorry, 80s rock, excuse me, more of a party, glitzy and glamour, and you even apply that to basketball, the LA Lakers, Showtime of the 80s, same type of thing, very glitzy type of basketball scene where you got all the stars and stuff in the crowd. The 90s rock scene was Seattle, very working class, much more of a serious place, much more gloomy and dark and things like that. And so it was just a really interesting conversation I had with Kelly. And I think this was I was able to articulate it finally why I like the 90s music so much. And again, I know there's plenty of exceptions as you transition later in the 90s, that the rap became much more, dancey and poppy, and the rock music became more poppy with, groups like Backstreet Boys and those guys coming around. But I just think that the early part, the transition from the 80s and 90s, and that's probably why I like the 90s music so much more serious in nature, maybe not as fun, and maybe that's reflective of me. But so I was finally able to sort of have that conversation with Kelly and articulate it. So that's my hot mic.
Is your go-to station on your satellite radio then the 90s hip hop station or
It
90s on
is.
nine?
No, the 90s on nine is more of a wide array. There's actually,
Yes,
okay, so my two stations actually, and I'm back on FM. I'm, these tough times economically.
they are tough.
But,
Thanks, Uncle Joe. You
but
should just call. You should do what you should just call Sirius though, or like even better. This last time
I
I
know,
used the chat, and you just do. I want to drop, and they'll be like, "We'll give you a year for $3 a month," and I'm like,
I
"Deal."
know. I I hadn't even thought about the chat part, but you got to bring yourself mentally to make those calls. I had to bring
But I
myself
know,
to a
but
place
use the
where.
chat. I'm telling you, but you don't. But now you're not a
So
member. And by the way, I don't even. It's not me. It's my wife. But I'm not gonna. She drives to Detroit. I'm not arguing. I have Apple Music. I don't. I can. I make my own playlist. DJ
Well, the DJ, yeah,
P.
there you go. Dumb Rats production. So I do go 43 is the old school rap station. 34 is an alternative rock station of the 90s.
Okay.
Now applying that to FM radio, 105.1 plays some excellent old school rap.
Okay.
Um, 98.7 does a lot of alternative, including the 90s and 2000s, and then 88.7 they took a
It,
hiatus,
it's
but they're
back.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's another
Nice.
one.
All
So
right.
yeah,
All right, and again, don't Bobby Brown me here. I want to bring this up, but it's not about the TikTok. It's about the social media commenting. Okay, and this goes back to what you said with Darren earlier with his comment. So a couple weeks ago at Lincoln Park, I made a TikTok that reviewed their concession stand like I normally do. It blew up. All right, my biggest TikTok to date, over 50,000 views. I even got an offer from TikTok to put a song in one of my future TikToks, and they'd pay me 25 bucks. Never heard this song before in my life, and I have standards. So take that, Dr. Rice. I'm not selling out.
What's the song?
I don't even know what it is. I went and looked up this song and never heard of it in my life. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not associating myself with this. Now, if it was like Whoop, There It Is, or, Pitbull, I would have done it in a second, but I'm guessing that Pitbull doesn't need my assistance. But the point of the matter is, so this blew up, and I've never had this happen before. The comment section, and again, we both understand if you put yourself there, like we put these episodes out here, we
Sure.
have a Facebook page. Thankfully, people have been very nice, but when you put
Yeah.
yourself out there, any doofus with a keyboard can say whatever they want. And again, I didn't say anything that controversial. They didn't have popcorn. I said Lincoln Park didn't have popcorn. I said it was a little bit of false advertisement. The hot dog was good. That's what I basically said. The fighting that took place in this comment section, 80% of it had nothing to do with me. I had a couple people, grown adult reviewing hot dogs, and I can take it, whatever. Yeah, I'm a grown adult reviewing hot dogs. What are you doing? Just sitting there typing on your keypad.
About to grow it up.
But there were people in the comments fighting about marching bands, about stadiums, about other schools, like had nothing to do with me. And I just ignored it. And I'm just amazed that people have the time and energy to do this. And like you said, you brought up, and again, I didn't see Darren's comments about the shutdown. The shutdown has nothing to do really with him as a Michigan State senator, other than his constituents are going to get
Yeah, that's a good point. He's
hit.
just trying to make, he was appealing to
Yeah.
the federal government, but that's a great point.
Yes. So his votes have nothing to do with this. We
Right.
thankfully avoided a state shutdown here. Thankfully, as we talked about before. I, and there are these people that are on TikTok. They mock comment sections. This is what they do. That I do concession stand reviews. They'll like go to a post and then they like react to all these comments, and it's amazing to me. It's amazing, and they're not all like boomers that have nothing else to do. There's people of all ages. The arguments, and again, people end up twisting themselves into knots, arguing and
All right.
fighting and just being nasty. I don't understand.
I got a challenge for you.
All
And
right.
we're gonna try to let this one catch on, okay? And everybody's
Okay.
gotta convince you to do this. Put one of your concession stand reviews on Downriver and Friends, and let's just watch the action unfold.
I listen. I've posted occasionally on there, like a few things, like actual. But I'm not talking a comment. I'm talking like a post.
Yeah.
There is no way I'm putting a video on
Oh,
there.
come on,
There
man.
is no. There is no way
Mike,
I'm
the
not. That
comedy gold that would come from that would be the gift that keeps giving. You
I
have to.
I get nervous just when every once in a while when I made a post about something, and man, I almost posted something on there because Bojangles is allegedly coming to Monroe. I made a TikTok about this. My sister Laura turned me onto this, and supposedly I heard the story about one going out in Grand Rapids, but supposedly there's one coming to Monroe. And I saw somebody already beat me to it. They posted it on Downriver and Friends, so I'm not even going to go there.
Man, you would be. It would be so original. Oh,
Yeah, but
that would
it's
be
I don't want to do that with SNAP benefits. It's not a time to make light of food.
by eating popcorn. Come on. We'll see if I can get people to join in this.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the day I post a video on Downriver and Friends, man, I don't know. I have to go into hiding. All right, it's time for our picks. Last week I did pick the Steelers, so I was wrong with that, and I did pick Michigan. We both picked Michigan. You picked Green Bay, right?
I
I
did.
think you
No, I
did.
picked
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, you did.
That was
So
more wishful
again,
thinking.
the NFL, we've been having a rough stretch. I think college is very easy this weekend. MSU is at Minnesota. Michigan State is not going to win that game. Uh, Easy win for Minnesota.
Yeah, probably.
Shout
You'd
out,
like to think that.
shout out to Emily Petty, cheerleader at Minnesota and Carlson.
Any chance they circle the wagons and try to save the coach?
No, I think it's just, and let me just say this though. I thought they were going to get stumped in East Lansing. They did
And I
play.
did. I told you they did. I
Yeah.
didn't think they would. I
I
think I
mean,
said
I
20s
can't believe they hung around with all the dumb mistakes they made in that game. So many penalties and uh,
penalties, and it clearly didn't get the benefit of the whistle either. But Michigan completed 8 passes, so there's that.
the problem is that they don't win this game. I mean, I guess Maryland's really though. Who's Maryland's not that good. Penn State's not that good. I'm not going to say they're going to go winless. Some people are saying that they're going to win one of these games. They're going to sneak up and win one of these games. It could be that Maryland game on Thanksgiving weekend. It's going to be a night game. It's downtown Detroit. Both of those teams are sort of meh. That might
Yeah,
be it. That could be it. So you got Minnesota too.
I'll take Minnesota.
All right, Purdue at Michigan, night game, easy win for Michigan.
Easy
Purdue's
win.
worse than Michigan State, so right. All right.
I don't know if
The,
Michigan can beat anybody easy necessarily. They'll win by 17.
okay. The best team in the National Football League, not the Lions, the Indianapolis Colts are at Pittsburgh.
Let's go with the upset there. I'm going to pick the Steelers.
Remember last week I said I was going to
Yeah,
bury the Steelers.
yeah.
They're done. And I saw somebody that ran through their schedule and says they may not win another game. And it's very
Mm.
possible looking at it. I mean, they play the Browns at Cleveland. Um, they're not beating the Colts. I don't think they're beating the Colts, and then that's going to be the start of the implosion. But I said, watch them lose this game to the Packers. Everyone
Yeah,
buries them, and they somehow win this game. But I don't think they're going to. They're just not very good on defense. They can't cover anybody. And then we have the Vikings, who are sort of like in a mess
yeah.
as far as the NFC North goes. At Detroit, 1 o'clock game. Detroit is now flying high. That loss to Kansas City doesn't look as bad now. Kansas City's
Hmm.
pretty good. That loss to Green Bay is holding up to be not that bad of a loss. Green Bay is clearly a really good team.
Yeah.
That loss at Cleveland was probably more of just playing down to them a little bit. So Vikings at the Lions. Who do you got?
Lions win easily.
Yeah, they handled them pretty. Remember that game last year was for the NFC North, and everyone
Yeah,
was a little worried, and they just handled them with no issue
yeah.
at all. Yeah, I agree. I still think the Vikings are the worst team in the NFC North.
I probably, yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
So I'm going to take the Lions there. So all right. We want to wish everyone happy Halloween. Be safe tonight. We also want to wish good luck to our Marauders. They start the playoff stretch back, ironically, playing Lincoln Park at home. Will be in the box later tonight.
Gary
And
Bailey's going to be in there with us.
oh, he is. Looks like it's
Yes.
going to be a nice night weather-wise, not super cold. I guess a lot of houses with no candy going on around in Cambridge Meadows, River Valley, all these places, all these Gibraltar
So
School
let me ask you
District.
a question. Are you going to put the bowl out and leave your cameras on and make sure everybody takes one piece
Very funny. You're baiting me with this. First of all, I have no problem. If anyone that does that, the first kid can take the whole bowl, and there's no arguments.
without
Nobody
all the
should
other
be angry.
kids?
Too bad. Too bad. Survival of the fittest. Secondly, I believe my wife will be not going to the game. I believe she said she's going to hand out candy. So that won't be an issue. It won't be one piece per. I've already had a couple pieces out of the bowl, to be honest.
Oh, okay. You're going
So
to do, why don't you do that and put it on Downriver and Friends?
what? Steal a bowl?
No, just a review it like a Hershey
Oh, a candy? I did that. I think I did a review a few years ago of M&Ms, to be
on
honest.
Downriver and Friends.
No, nothing on
This is
Downriver and
the,
Friends. I'm not doing anything.
we gotta get Troy will jump on board with us. We got to get this thing going, man.
Speaking of football too, a shout out and congratulations to the newest member of the Marauder family, Coach
Oh yeah,
Gendron and
congrats,
Amanda,
guys.
on the new baby girl, right? I
Yeah,
believe. Yes. So congratulations and welcome back to Kathy Huber, long-term subbing in the
yeah, it's
building.
great having her in as an
Yeah,
awesome.
one of the top math teachers of all time there.
Hey, let me plug the Pistons a little bit here. They're
Oh,
five
okay.
games into the season. I'm not sure if they're good or bad yet. They've been a little up and down. But I went to the game last night against
Oh, yeah.
Orlando. Hospitality section came around, moved us down, which was pretty cool.
Oh,
Um,
hold it, Chris Illich. That did not happen. Oh wait, he's not the owner of them. Never mind.
he's not
Just
it's
his
score.
just his building.
But man,
As long as
it
as
is.
long as you paid to park somewhere.
I think these Piston fans are ready for a winner. I hope they can deliver. That it was a very charged crowd. It was fun to be there. So let's
We are
hope.
going to a game, and we are going to go to a game this year. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, all right. Well, hey, happy Halloween. We're gonna we're going to get things locked in next week for the anniversary episode. We have the date. We just need to make sure we can do it. So
Yep.
stay tuned. Thank you, Mr. Hadi Ansari, for the anniversary gift. Well loved. Be safe on Halloween. Don't eat candy until you get it home and searched. Right? We don't want any.
Awesome. Yes, yes.
We don't want any 1980s myths to come true for anybody. All right. Have a
Right.
good week, everybody. We'll see you.